wish he would have gone to sleep from the first right hand, because that was a big shot. That was a heavy knockdown. And actually, I was surprised he got up. But then when he got up and got through the round, just decided to start throwing himself on the floor. You know, and he's making good money, and it's his last payday for me. I love the guy. I think the guy's a lovely man. But, you know, but I feel like Alan's had 8 fights, and he eats himself up to 15 stone. So
thank you very much.
I think that, but I actually think he's better, maybe than I gave him credit for originally. And I thought it was a good performance tonight, to be honest with you.
So who do you put him in with going forward?
I mean, I quite like the fight against the guy who Rivas just boxed. The Polish guy, is it Rozansky or something like that? I think it's nice. Yeah. I would like to see him move back and fight a smaller guy. He wants to fight Oscar Rivas for the Bridgerweight title. Good fight, but I still think he's a novice compared to Rivas. Is a good fighter, tough fight. So Spilka, you know, these kind of names that go around on certain. Marius Wack, tough fight. He's what, 6'9", 19 stone. Yeah, just the usual suspects, I think, for the next 2 or 3 fights. But everyone wants to watch him fight. He's really entertaining. I mean, he's never going to be dull, is it? But how far he can go, we just don't know. But he's definitely better than I think a lot of people give him credit for.
Talk about Johnny Fisher supporting that.
Unbelievable. I mean, that was his 4th fight. I've never seen anything like it. Even the massive ticket sellers, right? And there's only a couple that can compete with Johnny Fisher. Josh Warrington. Lewis Ritson was close in his heyday. Crolla got there in the end. But not after 3 or 4 fights. They were doing 150 tickets. He's just sold 1,300, I don't know. And the dad was saying he could have done another 100 or 200 today, people phoning him up for tickets. But talk about Alen Babic, you know, Johnny Fisher has got loads of potential, but just potential at the moment. He's got a long way to go. I need to give him another 15 fights before we start thinking about him having proper heavyweight fights. But I'll tell you what, he'd fill that place up for the southern area, let alone a British title. You know, it was unbelievable. He's very lucky that he's got people like that supporting him.
Would you consider matching Craig Richards and Josh Rivas?
Yes, I think it's a great fight. All those guys are looking for a world title shot, so they'd rather fight for the world title than fight, you know, a domestic rival. It was only Lyndon Arthur really got pushed into that rematch. He'd rather fight for a world title as well. Callum Johnson, much rather fight for a world title. Boatsi, he'd much rather fight Bivol. Richards would rather rematch Bivol or Joe Smith or whoever it is. But if they can't get a world title shot, and not all of them can, they should fight each other. Now, we just saw it with Smith Fowler, what those big domestic fights can do. And Craig Richards against Boatsi is a brilliant fight. But it's a bit awkward because, you know, Craig and Peter Sims and Josh and, you know, 258. It's like, I'd rather make Boatsi against Callum Johnson. I think that's a great fight. And I'd rather make Craig Richards against the winner of Yard and thing, but probably easier to do it in-house.
Right, seeing Callum out this year?
Callum Smith.
Yeah.
Callum Smith won't box too early next year. I mean, Callum Smith is the guy who is beyond the domestic fights, in my opinion, at the moment, unless it's for a world title. So he has to sit and wait, you know, for that world title shot or have a big fight. Joshua Boatsi is in a brilliant fight on December 18th, which we'll announce next week. Really tough fight. And then he's ready. That's his last one. He should fight Dimitri Bivol. You know, that's a brilliant fight. And that's an 0-2 fight where if he can win, he becomes the British boxing star. You know, and he can beat Bivol.
Who else is on that bill? Who else is on that bill?
Sorry, is it?
Yeah,
What, are you interviewing or are you
I'm asking a question.
Just a mate? Well,
I'm asking a question.
We'll announce next week.
Yeah, who else is on the bill? Not the opponent.
We'll announce next week, December 18th.
Yeah, who else?
We'll announce next week.
Right,
Joshua Boatsi.
Yeah, you've told us that already.
Oh, okay.
Ed, a few for me.
And more drink for you.
In terms of Babic's opponents, you named a few there, but you didn't name the one that he was calling out. Quite Dave Ali, have a long history with him. Are you interested in that fight?
I am. I think it's a great fight, and I think everyone would love to see it. But I will only make that fight if Dave takes it for the right reasons, and Dave is happy in himself. Because when he stopped fighting, he wasn't, and I was really pleased that he retired, following the conversations that we had. And when he wanted to come back, why did he want to come back? Did he want to come back for money? Did he want to come back for boredom, or did he want to come back because he genuinely missed it and wants to commit to the sport? I told him to go away and have a couple of fights. He had one. I'd like him to have another. But if I feel like he's fit and healthy, physically and in himself, and he's doing it for the right reasons other than just a few quid, then I will make the fight. But I haven't had those conversations to assure myself of that.
You announced the double header featuring Kate Taylor and Conor Benn. Who's the headliner?
Conor Benn this time around. Last time, Katie went above him. This time, Conor will go above him. He'll touch wood. We've got a really big fight for him that we'll announce next week. All of that card will be announced next week. Katie will face, I think, her last mandatory before the Amanda Serrano fight. Joe Caldina will be on that card. Probably Alen Babic. Jordan Gill against Guerfi for the European title, loads of other stuff. And then obviously Chisora Parker the week after with Boatsi, huge fight for Lerone Richards, Zelfa Barrett, Jack Cullen in a big fight, etc.
Bit off topic, but who do you expect Anthony Joshua's UK broadcast partner to be going forward?
I don't know. I mean, I think, look, there's no reason necessarily for him to leave Sky. Like, they're a brilliant pay-per-view platform. They've had a great relationship with him, and we have as well with AJ, with them. Those talks continue. He's been approached by a number of other broadcasters. Those talks will also continue. It's up in the air. It's not like something that we're on every day at the moment, or even talking about every day, but obviously we know it's got to be dealt with, and 258 and Freddie and myself and AJ will look at all the offers and decide what's best. But there's no, it's not like, oh, we want to leave Sky, because they've been a great partner, and certainly they're a very strong option to continue with.